Are Ram trucks reliable? Well, we're going to look at this high mileage Hemi to find out. I'll include a link to the Carl Malone Dodge Ram here in Heber's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this truck. Let's get right into it. This week's giveaway highlight is a supercharged Corvette and Silverado. Use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Any donation $25 or more will give you 4x bonus entries into the giveaway. Powering this is a 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It produces 395 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque, and it's going strong. Now these Hemis of course can have issues, right? The famous Hemi tick and all that. From my experience, based on what I've now seen with my stepdad's truck, which is a 2017 with pretty similar miles to this now, I think. As long as you're giving it oil changes every 3,000 to 5,000 miles and just having things checked over, this engine should actually be pretty darn good. The problem is some people will go 10,000 miles between oil changes because, you know, manufacturers keep recommending longer and longer oil change intervals, and well, then things start breaking. I will say the hood struts on this are kind of shot. If you're looking for more straight to the point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. Now the truck we're looking at today is a Night Edition Laramie, so that's why you got the hood vents. Everything's all blacked out here with the front end. But the biggest thing I want to bring attention to is just the overall exterior is held up really well. Now it's hard to tell perfectly well because it just snowed today, but the paint actually looks like it's doing really well. This has actually impressed me. The power side steps this truck has, they still work perfectly fine. And then this is coil sprung and can't really see the suspension, but yeah, it looks good. One weak point that I'll see sometimes is tailgates, because they've got the dampers now, and you'll notice, yeah, so those, just like the hood struts, are kind of losing a bit of life. So you're gonna kind of have to probably just, and the only downside, it's not really a downside, you just kind of have to start using it like a regular tailgate with lifting up and all that, but no big deal. So other than some struts being a little bit weaker, which again, easy fix, also just not a big deal in general, seems like it's doing pretty good. The part that has me really impressed is the interior. So there is some wear and tear showing with this interior. You can see on these seats as well, but for well over 100,000 miles, it's not bad at all. And this does need to be detailed, but yeah, good. The room still, obviously, I mean, this shows a little bit, but it's not bad at all. And oh yeah, the headline, everything's, yeah, the headliner's not drooping or anything like that. Let's now take a look at the front, see how that's going. Let's see if it still works. Holy guacamole, it does. Will it extend out? Yes. And the driver's seat's gonna have the most wear and tear of any seat, and you can definitely tell it's used, but there's no tears or anything in the seat. And if I actually get up here, the door still sounds solid closing it. The steering wheel, you can see obviously the hand oils have made it all shiny, right? They've worn through the leather trim, but not bad at all. I mean, for a truck that has 130,000 miles on it. Now, something else that, you know, might be concerning is tech, but yeah, it still works just fine. Like the camera system works. You've got your heated ventilated seats. Those also work on the truck as well. And this is like the peak of Ram UI in my opinion, because you can see, unlike the new stuff, it's like instant with the response. I don't know why they ever went away from this Uconnect system in terms of the UI, because the new stuff is way slower. And this just works, and it's proven to be pretty darn reliable so far. And let's quickly check out the four-wheel drive system. So we'll just pop it into high there. It should be, like, that was quick. Yeah. That was quick. Get back to our little parking place. Yeah, that actually worked. Let's check out, see if it should go like instant back into two-wheel drive. That's great. This one doesn't have a sunroof, but it does have a power setting window. Yeah, so not bad. And again, no drooping with the headliner even up front. So let's take this truck out and see how it performs. Let's set off in the 130,000 mile Ram. A lot of you asked me to do videos like this on higher mileage vehicles, so when I see them at the dealers, I will from time to time. Obviously, if I have time, it just depends. Right now, I don't have a ton of new cars to review, so doing some fun stuff with the used. Now, one thing to note, this is on oversized tires, and that is one thing that makes this not so ideal truck to use for the video, I suppose, because the tires do rub a little bit. It's not like a huge deal, but you know, ideally, especially when you keep a truck for a long time. Oh, there's a deer. Oh dear, there's a few. Yeah, you're gonna not want to have tires that are gonna rub. The engine's still buttery smooth. You know, you're gonna have carbon buildup and everything with engines over time, so you're gonna lose horsepower, torque. That is just a factor. But yeah, I mean, it still drives really well. And, you know, I'm kind of looking at the tech this truck has and everything, and I'm starting to come to the conclusion, because this is kind of similar to what my 2020 Land Cruiser has, tech-wise. This is probably the sweet spot, because, like, the newest cars have a bit more than this. I think it's going to cause so many electrical issues with those newest cars. That's going to be problematic. But with this, you know, it's just it seems like it's enough tech for where it feels modern, and it does add, you know, an improvement with quality of life. But it's not so much that it's too concerning. And, you know, some of the tech bits, if I owned this truck and I lost them, it wouldn't be that big of a deal in terms of, like, I wouldn't feel like I'm losing that much, if that makes sense. Because, like, with the new vehicles, they have so much tech that's, like, it's such a part of the vehicle. Like, if they have a self-driving system, right? You're paying, you bought that vehicle and paid the price for part of it for that self-driving system, right? This just has regular cruise control. Doesn't even have adaptive. Newer Ram trucks do. The point that I'm trying to make here, if I lost the blind spot monitoring, no big deal. If I lost the backup camera, no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it would suck. It would be like an inconvenience. And I'd be like, man, I wish it would work. But also be like, whatever. But if I'm in a new car that has, like, the new car features where it's self-park feature and driving, I don't even use this stuff. That's why I hate some of these new cars, because they have all these features I never use. But then if it breaks, it's like, I'm like, I bought this car because it drives for me on the highway, and now the self-driving isn't working because the computer glitched out. And a lot of times the cars just get bricked, where they just don't work at all after. The last thing I want to mention, I think that the cars from, you know, we've already seen the cars from the early 2000s just have crazy values because those are even more simplistic. I think the cars from the 2010s just, like, again, cutoff date probably like 2020-ish, maybe 2021. I mean, it's going to depend on the car, because some cars were still built with kind of like old school thoughts even into 2022, 2023. But I think that the cars that basically in that time period, those are going to be the next ones that are going to have, I wouldn't say like a huge run up in value. Like, it's not like, hey, go buy this, it'll beat the stock market. No, that's not the case. But I do think that the value is going to hold really well, because the newest stuff coming out, you've got a bunch of powertrain issues, you've got a bunch of electrical issues, and so these cars are nice when they're brand new, but once they're not brand new, once they're 130,000 miles, I mean, I don't even know if they'll make it to 130,000 miles with a lot of these new ones. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, maybe they won't even make it to the mileage, but even if they do, it's like the cost is probably going to be ridiculous, that it's the value is just not going to be there. And so I think, you know what, again, what we've already seen is people are spending crazy money on early 2000s cars. Like, you'll have a car that's 20, 30 years old, has over 100,000 miles, and people will pay 20, 30, 40 grand for this thing. You know what I mean? Again, it's always going to depend on the individual car. Sorry, I just got to go slow here so I don't hit into the pole. Parking sensor should be going off. But yeah, I think we're going to see the same thing where the values on these are, you know, you're going to have your depreciation curve, but I think a lot of these cars, like, especially if they're, like, this is 5 years old, so it's got a little bit more value to lose. But once these cars hit that, like, 7 to 10 year range, I think they're going to hold better than what they normally would have, because people are going to be more willing to buy a 10-year-old car that has this versus a, you know, in 5 years from now, a 5-year-old car that has like all the crazy tech that the newest cars have, and the small turbo engine that, you know, again, this engine isn't perfect, but this is far more reliable than pretty much most powertrains that are being released nowadays. So there's a 130,000 mile Ram.